Don't transfer another dollar into your house fund until you hear this, because most people are saving for a down payment completely wrong, and it's adding years to their timeline without them even realizing it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much you actually need saved to buy your first home in 2026. The exact budgeting system that gets you there faster than almost everyone your age, and the down payment help that most people don't even know exists. You're watching M Cubed, Money Mindset Makeover, where we're flipping the script on money for Millennials and Gen Z. This isn't just a channel, it's a mindset revolution. Hit subscribe and join the M Cubed Mavericks, because by the time this video's over, your someday I'll buy a house plan is getting a serious upgrade. Let's be real about where most of us are starting. The median age of a first-time homebuyer just hit an all-time high, almost 40 years old. 40. Your grandparents probably had a mortgage, 2 kids, and a dog by 25. You're still splitting a one-bedroom with a roommate you met through a group chat, paying renter's insurance on furniture you found on a sidewalk. And it's not because you're bad with money. It's because almost 70% of Gen Z says they're struggling just to cover their regular housing costs before they've even bought anything. Rent isn't a stepping stone toward a home anymore. It's a subscription you can never cancel, with a price hike every single year and zero equity waiting for you at the end of it. Meanwhile, home prices kept climbing, mortgage rates roughly doubled from their 2021 lows, and the same house that cost your older sibling $300,000 might run you $415,000 today for the exact same square footage. Add student loan payments on top of that, plus childcare if you've got a kid, plus groceries that somehow cost more every single trip, and just save more starts sounding like a joke nobody's laughing at. That's not a personal failure. That's a system that was built before remote work, before $40,000 of average student debt was normal, before rent ate a third of your paycheck before you even saw it hit your account. You're not lazy, you're exhausted. And the math has genuinely gotten harder. But here's what almost nobody's telling you. The math also quietly changed in your favor in a few very specific places, and that's exactly what we're breaking down today. First, let's kill the 20% myth right now, because this single misunderstanding is probably costing you years. Everyone's parents, every finance blog, every uncle at Thanksgiving will tell you that you need 20% down to buy a house. Here's the actual truth. The real median down payment for first-time buyers right now is closer to 9 to 10%, not 20, half that, around 10%. On a $300,000 starter home, that's the difference between needing $60,000 saved up and needing $30,000. You could cut your entire timeline in half just by knowing the real number instead of the myth everyone keeps repeating. Let's run actual numbers, because vague advice doesn't get you a house. Say you're targeting a $350,000 starter home. At the old mythical 20% rule, you're saving $70,000 before anyone hands you a key. At the real first-time buyer median of around 10%, that number drops to $35,000. Saving $300 a month gets you there in roughly 9.5 years at the 20% number. At the real 10% number, that exact same $300 a month gets you there in under 5 years. Same paycheck, same discipline, half the wait, just because you stopped chasing a number nobody actually requires. But here's where it gets worse for the people who don't know this. Because so many people think they need 20%, they keep grinding toward a number that was never actually required, watching home prices outpace their savings the entire time they're preparing. Meanwhile, buyers who understand the real minimums are already in the game. FHA loans only require 3.5% down. VA and USDA loans let eligible buyers put down $0. Conventional loans can start as low as 3%. While one group is still waiting to feel ready, the other group already owns a front door. And most people don't realize this part either. There are now more than 20,600 down payment assistance programs across the country, with average help landing around $18,000. That's real money sitting on the table that most first-time buyers never even apply for, simply because nobody told them it existed. Before you save one more dollar, it is worth 5 minutes to check what your city, county, or state actually offers. Now hold on, because this next part is where your budget actually comes in. Knowing the real numbers doesn't matter if you don't have a system to actually hit them. Here's the move. Open a separate high-yield savings account, not your regular checking, a completely separate down payment fund you don't see every time you glance at your balance. Then automate a fixed percentage of every single paycheck straight into it before you ever touch the money. Treat it like a bill you legally cannot skip, not a leftover you save if there's anything left at the end of the month, because there is never anything left at the end of the month. Then audit your actual spending for 30 days. Subscriptions you forgot about, delivery apps, the impulse orders at midnight that felt necessary at the time. Redirect every dollar you find straight into that fund. Round up every purchase to the nearest dollar and sweep the difference in weekly. Add any bonus, tax refund, or side hustle income directly into it before it ever touches your regular spending account. None of this is glamorous. That's the point. Boring and automatic beats, motivated and inconsistent every single time. Let me know where you stand on this in the comments. I genuinely read through them, and the conversations happening down there are often just as valuable as the video itself. Here's something that might take the shame out of this part. About a quarter of recent first-time buyers used family money toward their down payment. If your family can help, that's not cheating the system. That's using a resource that exists. The shame spiral around needing help isn't getting anyone into a house faster. And location changes this math more than people expect. In a high-cost market, even a 3% down payment on a home can run well past $25,000. While that same 3% in a more affordable state might only be a few $1,000s. National averages can feel discouraging if you're staring at a coastal city price tag. But the real strategy is checking the numbers for your specific area instead of panicking over a nationwide headline. Local housing counselors and lenders deal with your market every day. They're free, and most people never use them. But here's the part that actually changes the whole equation. My M-Cubed Mavericks. Gen Z homeowners are currently spending around 24.5% of their income on their mortgage payment. On its own, that sounds rough, but renters in the exact same generation are reporting even higher housing stress, with no equity to show for it at the end of the year. You're already spending a huge percentage of your income on housing, full stop. The only real question left is whether any of that money is coming back to you in 10 years, or whether it's gone the moment you send it. So here's the shift you need to make. Stop treating saving for a house like some far-off mountain you'll start climbing someday. As I love to say here on M-Cubed, this is where broke ends and ownership begins. Not the moment you hit some mythical 20% number, but the moment you start budgeting toward the real number, automating it without thinking about it, and stacking every assistance dollar you legally qualify for. Becoming a homeowner isn't about out-earning everyone else your age. It's about building a boring, automatic system that quietly moves money toward your future while you're busy living your actual life. The people closing on homes right now aren't the ones who waited until they felt completely ready. They're the ones who did the real math, found the real minimum, applied for the help they qualified for, and built a budget unglamorous enough to actually survive year after year. Renting isn't a moral failure, and owning isn't a finish line that proves your worth. But if homeownership is the goal, the path there is shorter than the myths have been telling you. You don't have to out-earn the system. You just have to stop letting outdated advice run your timeline. You don't need 20%. You don't need a flawless credit score overnight. You need a real number, a separate account, and the discipline to automate it. And you officially have all three right now. Drop it in the comments. What's the one expense you're cutting first to fund your down payment? Now go become the CEO of your life and stick around, because next up is the retirement lie nobody talks about, 2026 reality. And trust me, you need to hear this one before you make another single money move. See you there, M-Cubed family.